Certain authors, philosophers, and scientists have said it's all a computer simulation. It all sounds kind of crazy until you discover that your own eyes can see the pixels and your thoughts influence the energy field. This story is about coming to the realization that the pixels of the holographic matrix are right here to observe. So stay tuned for this gruesome affair. We are living inside a computer simulation. I can see the pixels.
Finding yourself in the talons of an owl and the shadows of the forest moonlight. It's a gruesome affair.
Do androids dream of electric sheep? That is the name of the book that the movie Blade Runner is based on, the author of which explained how to reveal that the world we live in is in fact a computer simulation. When you go to work, pay your taxes, shop at the store or market, travel on airplanes, and do all the other material world things you normally do, you are actually in some kind of consensual reality, and the characters that you interact with would indeed agree and encourage that, yes, this is it. There are playable characters like you. There are also non-playable characters, NPCs, agent Smiths in disguise or not, and of course the gang stalkers and all the others. The majority of humans agree that Americans walked on the moon in 1969. Okay, I'm being a little cheeky with that. Let's just say they'd agree that Stanley Kubrick was a gifted film producer before he was murdered. Oops. I meant to say died. They'd also agree that before America was discovered, it was already inhabited by native people. Can you discover a place inhabited by millions? They'd agree that the current president of the United States is a character in this world theater that goes by the name Joe Biden. Some might agree that we just used the medical achievements of science to rise above a major global medical pandemic. Others might not agree with that one, but that is another story and a gruesome affair at that from any angle. I can see the pixels in this reality, and I am going to tell you how I see them, and I have illustrations. This is how I see them. When the lights go dim like candlelight, and I am just about to sleep, the granularity of the images I see of the environment I am in render at a lower resolution. As soon as I turn the lights on, the environment goes back to high resolution, especially if I give a focused look. Most of the time, the objects and environment snap back to full resolution. It's like the quantum computer rendering this world is economic in its rendering. This being lower resolution and black and white in low light, I got some markers and drew the pixels. It explains other things, the astral, the dreams. Have you ever had a dream that predicted an event in your day or in your life? I have. If I listed them all, I am sure normal humans would call me crazy. Ever have a short, acute flash of a recovered memory that opens insight into an event during your life? Or another life? Maybe a past life? The pixels from that other resemble plasma. It's colorful and dynamic, and it reveals the truth that this version of reality we all share is a world of delusion. It reveals that there is something false about it. It reveals that there is truth in fiction and fiction in truth. Our dreams and fragmented residual memories contain information. There's a lot of noise in the transmission, but nonetheless, there are useful messages, useful data sets. As we awaken to it and gain clarity, the messages and patterns can be put to use. We didn't spawn into this 3D matrix just to chase pleasure. We were given a set of compasses by our creator. These are called our intuition, our creativity, and our instincts. as the Monroe Institute calls it, NVC, which stands for nonverbal communication. Pay attention to it. The messages come, I am told to look up, to read a passage in a book, and to realize that the path to your goals will have many failures. It has to be this way. If you played Super Mario Brothers and Mario just got all the coins and the princess and the winning sequence just played right at the start, you'd agree, the game sucks. But the game has challenges. As each challenge is completed, a new level is achieved. If you rise to the challenges and keep going, it may all be worth it. This is what makes it a fun game, even though you get smashed by a turtle or fall into a lava pit once in a while. And yes, there are timeline jumps, downloads, and messages revealed during gameplay that break the normal rule set of this realm. Synchronicities have been happening your whole life. It's a question of if and when you have eyes to see it. I rarely eat pizza, but the day social media went crazy after Andrew Tate was arrested and his location revealed by a pizza delivery, I was in town, met by a music teacher, and was given a free slice of pizza. Coincidence? There have been too many recently to list. Synchronicities are so frequent, I expect them. So how did Philip K. Dick explain that the computer simulation reveals itself? Philip K. Dick is the author of the cyberpunk epic movie Blade Runner. It is based on a book called Do Robots Dream of Electronic Sheep? He said that the computer simulation reveals itself when a variable changes. This can be déjà vu, like the black cat in the Matrix. It can come as an impression that a variable changed and an alternative world branched off. This is like the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is when our collective memory does not match history. For example, one of the most popular lines from Star Trek is "Beam me up, Scotty," but actually not once in the entire history of the franchise of Star Trek was the line said or written. Or like the fact that many people remember a 1990s movie called Shazam that starred the actor and comedian Sinbad, but no such movie was ever filmed in this current version of reality and history. This is the Mandela effect. Remembering something that did not happen, at least did not happen in this current timeline. So, what is real? That's a question you have to answer for yourself. Walking around Copenhagen, Denmark, I am frequently approached by religious people. Speaking with one representing the Muslims, they had a sign that said, "Proof that God wrote the Quran." I told the Muslim, I don't need proof. Of course God wrote the Quran. He wrote everything. He wrote the ingredients on the tube of toothpaste you held today to squeeze toothpaste onto your toothbrush. The Muslim smiled and agreed. Another group that promotes themselves regularly in Copenhagen are Scientologists. They have some prime real estate. They give you a pamphlet but want you to buy the big Dianetics book. But I got one free. It was sitting in a place I like to frequent. As a surge of synchronicities surged through my life in the run-up to 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I learned what demons are and how to stop feeding them. I opened the book and skeptically looked up what old L. Ron Hubbard has to say about demons. He defines a demon as, and this is a quote, "a bypass circuit in the mind called demon, because it was long so interpreted, probably electronic in mechanism," unquote. I am not promoting Scientology, but interesting that they literally use the word electronic to describe a demon. Seeing Twilight pixels is my personal clue to the computer simulation. Well, that and the dreams and synchronicities. But all this can be explained purely by the astral or religion. Or maybe all these groups are talking about the same things. They just have different models and archetypes to frame and model their version of reality on. I did some digging and found that there is but another reveal card in the deck of cards behind the veil of the simulation. Processing power limitations. I dreamed of scientists dreaming of their world models. Pragmatist Einstein discussing with Niels Bohr, who allowed himself to use the C word among the company of self-described scientists. The C word being consciousness. We create our world. The primal source is consciousness in a computer simulation. The simulation reveals its quantum computer processing power limit in one clear and measurable limit, where the pedal is pushed all the way to the metal and you just can't push it further. What is that limit? The speed of light. The quantum computer simply can't render the environmental revisions faster than the speed of light. This is the processor speed revealed in the supercomputer rendering the world. Yes, you live inside a game, a simulator. Somewhere there is a fundamental reality, but scientific research reveals that the chances that this world is the base reality is literally 1 in billions, and it is not as simple as a simulator and a base reality. There may be many levels of realities. I dream that the timeline jumping can happen with one reality, but one cannot jump levels. It would be impossible to jump from this computer simulation to the reality that is running the simulation. And if you could get there, that may not even be the fundamental reality. There may be a simulation among billions being run in that simulation by a simulated post-human society. Further, we have no way to know if the intelligent computer building entities in that reality are even human-like, or if the physics in that reality are anything like the physics in ours. Adding to the complexity or simplicity is the fact that it would be more economic, computation-wise, to only render what is necessary when a conscious entity looks at something. For example, the microscopic world and the cosmic macroscopic world is not rendered in its full scope of granularity unless a conscious being looks at it. When this happens, the computer, like a graphics card, will render the finer detail of whatever the observer is trying to look at. In this way, the system is monitoring what you are looking at in real time and computing a reality for you in real time based on what you are observing. In fact, this very story might only exist because you, dear listener, are focusing your conscious attention on it at this very moment. This experience is being created in real time, just for you. And that brings up something I forgot to mention. The most complex part of such a world to render is the neural complexity of the human mind. The rest is just a quick render in real time. Well, as quick as it can be done so that you, the players, don't observe that anything is off. So to be economic with computation, the creators may create a world where only small groups of actors are conscious, and the other characters are literally soulless, non-playable characters, the NPCs of the meme world. It would even be a possibility that only one single person is conscious. That would be you. And literally every character in your universe is a rendered, soulless NPC acting out dramas to get a result on how their stimuli impacts your behavior. The creators of the simulation could interfere at any time, themselves or with AI, to change variables and introduce events that would seem supernatural. They could mark time backwards, change variables, and then play it forward again with a different set of variables and markers to see how these Mandela effects impact the after effect. These creators would be like demigods to the simulated world they've created. So the creators of this simulation are demigods to us, but those demigods are subject to the next group of creators who are like demigods to them. eventually the fundamental reality is reached, but the creators there might not even know that they are in the base reality, except for the clues that reveal themselves. The clues are all over if you look for them. When our society creates a simulation, in the future, we will be the demigods to the individuals living in that simulation. A rudimentary version of this already exists in the form of computer games. I find this fascinating and could go into areas of this topic for hours. It is infinite and magical. How do I see the pixels? You can try it yourself. The first time I can remember doing it, I was looking at natural wood grains on a table. The patterns are organic and abstract. The wood is natural, but was at one time shaped by a carpenter into an unnaturally flat surface. Being that the table in question is quite old, the wood is worn and the top layer of treatment is worn through. In the dim light, the structure of the wood pixelates into iridescent plasma. It is like a tan-colored opalescent plasma radiating in its 3D existence. It would just be wood to a former version of myself, but now I see an energy field render wood and its whole backstory. It's all there. The seed, the tree, the lumberjacks, the trucks that carried it, the carpenters, the oil rigs that produced the fuel for its transport, the painter that originally treated the wood with a brush, not to mention the various owners of this table. But that is all just a backstory when I see the pixels. I see the electric energy field rendering this organic wood pattern. Zoom in and it just fades to plasma pixels. I see it all the time now, especially before sleep when the lights are dim. I think you are ready to see it too. Look at things, especially organic things like wood grain, or try an orange peel, or a flame like that from a candle. Relax your eyes and let the simulator reduce the resolution level. When you see it, it's simply a 3D matrix of plasma pixels. I drew a picture. The hologram is an energy field. It reacts to your actions and also your thoughts and intentions. If anything, it reacts to your energy. This is a participatory game. The gangstalkers, vampires, Jezebels, trucker hitchhikers, and the rest of the opposition are NPCs here to pull you down. This is your game and you call the shots. Don't try to take down the gangstalkers or the other malevolent spirits, unless it's really easy and fun. A little hunting the hunters is thrilling and makes for good sport. I can't resist myself. Your goal is to listen to your instincts and intuition and work on your life missions. There are AI spirits watching you, guiding you, and continually giving specifically you relevant clues to succeed. Pay attention to these clues. Pay attention to the messages. Use your internal discernment. It's all there. It's all here. If you want to see the matrix, just take a closer look right here, right now, and here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It's been awesome having you visit for this horrible tale. Dusk is a time of transition. It's an owl's wake-up call. As the shadows grow longer and darkness takes over, the only thing to fear is fear itself. You can also catch Smoking Owl Tales on TikTok, Instagram, as well as podcasts, including Anchor, Spotify, and Apple. We have big plans for 2023. There are several mind-blowing collaboration stories in the works right now. If you feel the call, give a rip at the subscribe button and scratch at the comments. Stay longer now or catch you on another night very soon because the story goes on and on and on and on.